All right, Ben Moore, 247Sports. Thanks for joining us here. Get to do a little Q&A session. There's a lot going on, seemingly, in what's supposed to be a dead time, right? What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. What's up, fellas? Appreciate you having me on. There's a lot to talk about, obviously. Tomorrow is April. It officially kind of kicks off.
No joke.
Nope.
Yeah, no
I
joke.
hope
True
not.
story. No fooling. That's why we're doing it today, guys, right? We didn't want to do it tomorrow because tomorrow we'll be like, it's just April Fool's joke. We go there. We're to actually turn this podcast into a Georgia Southern podcast or an App State podcast. That would be awesome for
Whoa.
April Fools. I don't know.
We don't even joke. We don't even joke about these things.
No, that's why I said that, right? I said that. I'm not a state of Atlanta, staffer there. But no, it's an exciting time. A lot of news set to break in the next 24 hours, we believe. So expectations are that we'll have a men's basketball coach named.
Wait. We don't
Or
have a
at
men's
least
basketball coach
leaked
right now?
tomorrow.
I've seen nothing that says we don't have a men's basketball coach. We don't have one?
We have none.
Currently, there is one still under contract. Yes, I can confirm that. So I expect that to be handled tomorrow officially.
We've talked, I think the past 3 weeks are pretty much our main topic has been what the hell's going on with this basketball coaching hire. And it's been such secrecy and just, it doesn't make any sense. From the moment that our season ended, which was obviously really early, the way the Sun Belt does the conference tournament now a week before Selection Sunday. So we knew he was going to be gone. The reports came out that he was going to be gone. Since that time, we've had other schools announce their firings, actually put out a release statement. They announced their firing and then announce who they were hiring since then. We've heard absolutely nothing from Cobb and the gang. And now we're hearing names about who's going to be coming in. What's going on?
If I can speak in generalities, college football and college basketball coaches, primarily, all coaches have contracts, right? Most of them are public. You can go look for them. You can go find them. A lot of great websites out there. If you are an employee of a state-funded institution, which Georgia State is, you can go find employment contracts. So Jonas Hayes had a 5-year contract. So last year was year 4. There was contract buyout stipulations that if his contract was terminated by the school after working in and around HR for a while, anybody that's watching this podcast understands it. When you exit your employer, it's either initiated by you quit, or the employer terminates your relationship. So the expectation, right? GSU terminates Jonas Hayes. He was notified, as far as we understand, on the 13th that he would not be back. So we were recording this on the 31st. So the understanding
is he Milton from Office Space where he was fired, but no one ever told him or told anybody else?
Still hanging around. That's it. The boss goes on vacation. He's still there like George Costanza in Seinfeld.
We got to fix the glitch.
No, he's probably got like a pile of red staplers.
Yeah.
He has.
And to be fully transparent, again, I've known Jonas a long time. He's my age. We were in the same graduating class cycle in 1999. I have exchanged texts with him in the last few days. He's good. He's doing well. I'll keep the rest of that kind of conversation off the record for now. But it's one of those scenarios too, with contract buyouts and stipulations of that nature. There are sometimes things that get done or negotiated or different things like that. So when head coaches, like I'll throw a name out there like Kevin Keats, right? Fired from NC State. Got a massive buyout, $7.8 million. He was mentioned very early in this job cycle, very early, as potentially be interested. Is he really interested in coaching? Is there offset language in that buyout where if he came to Georgia State, for example, and got a $700,000 contract in year 1, would that offset that $7.8 million down to 7.1? And then he just wants to coach. Well, from my understanding, Jonas wants to coach next year. So for him to leave and be terminated, then obviously he can negotiate that buyout. They can work through that. I believe it's a contract or an HR type stipulation that's holding this up. But from what I understand, that will be resolved as of tomorrow.
So that'll be resolved as tomorrow. And then we got our guy. We know who's coming
That's my
in.
understanding. Yeah, in-person interviews started. There's a report out there. Mark Prosser, of course, son of Skip Prosser, who's currently the Winthrop head coach. Um, he's he is interviewed in person. He was in Atlanta. Earl Grant, also the former Boston College coach, it was in town as well. There's been some rumblings as well as about Mike Jones from UNC Greensboro, formerly. And there's been several names that have been floated. There's been, I've heard as many as a dozen names mentioned for this job. Now, again, in like we're doing right now, you can jump on a computer, you can jump on a phone, you can do a Zoom interview, you can do things like that. Does an in-person interview mean more or less? Sure, potentially.
You're a finalist, basically.
Right. And that's my understanding of it, right? That's the serious candidates in the past. And I can only kind of speak in generalities about Charlie. Like, he's had odd numbers. It's been 3, it's been 5. We've talked through and heard some folks that were interviewing when Jonas got the job, when Rob Lanier got the job. There was a specific candidate who thought they got the job, told people they got the job. It went public. Folks didn't really like that so much, and he didn't get the job last cycle. So that happens, and part of it too is agents put guys' names out there because they want to leverage other opportunities. They want to leverage their own job, see if they can get an extension in it. A lot of this stuff is kind of playing. A lot of this stuff is kind of chess in some places because you're trying to leverage jobs. And there's guys that have done it from here as well.
How attractive is this job in its current state? Because I know, obviously, when we went from Coach Hunter and whatever happened there, and we got Lanier, he inherited a team, a program that was used to winning, and Lanier did what Lanier did. We were actually in the tournament the year, which got him the job at SMU. And Hayes came in, which seemed to be a great hire on paper, and they got the hot name at that time, which sounded great and everything. But now we're 4 years in. The facilities have improved dramatically, but the landscape of college sports in general has changed with NIL and the portal the way it is. Where is this job? Because Charlotte's a program that also came available after everything and got filled already. And I'm on record as saying that I think Charlotte's a more of an attractive job based off of being in the American Conference versus the Sun Belt and the money that comes in there. What does this job look like? Like, what kind of coaches are you able to attract to this job?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think a lot of times fans close to this undersell this job because the main points, and I've talked to agents in the last few coaches, agents in the last few weeks, talked to former assistant coaches. I've talked to a lot of different folks, kind of gathering that information, right? Because we're jaded, right? Where we see it and we're like, hey, this is a really good job. It's Atlanta, there's new facilities and, things like that. Ultimately, it is, we pay right now at the top or close to the top tier in the Sun Belt. You can win here, right? We saw that sustained success for basically 10, 11 years with Ron Hunter and then Rob Lanier. You can also launch yourself to a job that can make you $2 million a year, which is attractive, especially for these guys who've been grinding.
I'd do it.
I'll bring up Prosser again. Okay. At last check, he was at $248K. Okay. Jonas made $500K. I don't know about y'all, but doubling my paycheck sounds really, really fun. And
sounds fun.
That's what's there. I know Rob Lanier total compensation was over 600. So same thing with Ron Hunter. And so I think it is an attractive job there. You can win there. The next questions always come. All right, what is the NIL situation? What's the revenue share situation, which is a Sun Belt thing, right? So the Sun Belt TV contract, revenue share gets split between the schools. And how does that compare? Now, I will say this, from grabbing coaches or interviewing coaches from places like the Big South or OVC, or just if you think about it from a football point of view, like FCS conferences, yeah, the Sun Belt is going to have more money to throw around because there's more money available. Our ESPN contract as the Sun Belt is a lot better than the OVC and the other ones that way, and FCS. So they can help there. Now, there is a tier to it as well, right? Like American Conference coaches, they're paying more, obviously. Like Memphis is going to pay their coach more. Obviously what Coach Hunter is getting at Tulane right now is reported over $2 million. And why basically he would leave for that. Money. Like, bring Ron back. I was like, we got $2 million somewhere? Anybody? No? Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah. I expect him to be at Tulane next year. So it's things like that. There's still a lot to like here. I don't think it's, there's irreparable damage as much as fans want to, kind of bemoan that. I just think, again, there was a lot of mistakes on a lot of different levels that can be cleaned up quickly. I think there's also a big part of this where you have kind of a first time head coach, and why I'm really bullish on the fact that the main candidates that we continue to hear mentioned have Division One experience, have been successful at their previous stops, and that's important. That matters because structurally, organizationally, you have to know how to handle that landscape. As you mentioned, with this new, I mean, basically, you're turning the roster over every single year. We've seen that in the Sun Belt, right? First team and second team guys every single year end up being gone, and you have agents working at that. And I also think, too, a thing that hurt this program is there was no general manager. There was not somebody basically to handle roster management, which is a full-time job now in college basketball. Like, you have to be able to manage agents, and NIL, manage all that stuff. It's a lot.
And you
Is that
said
all
you said that
Hayes?
that will be a new role at Georgia State with this new head coach. Is we
I
will be
believe that is the plan. Now, again, it's up to the head coach, right? I mean, you go up the street,
so.
Kirby
What is it?
Smart doesn't have a general manager for football. He said he's not going to have one. Most
what would a general manager of basketball do?
Yeah.
What role would they have?
Roster management, evaluating contracts, working through NIL disbursements, having those conversations with the agents. My biggest frustration and talking to people in the NIL space, and do this every single day, and there's no certification process right now with agents at all. And you guys are fans of pro sports as I am. To interact with a professional organization, you have to go through a certification process. You got to go through a class, get certified, basically say, yep, I'm an NFL agent, I'm an NBA agent. There's none of that in college. And I believe that's kind of step one of what has to happen, because leagues need to step forward. Get the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, get the big boys to do it, and then everyone follows their lead. Say, listen, we're not going to negotiate with you guys unless you've gone through our certification process. The NCAA is not going to do that. They should, but they're not going to, because they've got their butt kicked so bad in court. They don't want to, infringe, and they don't want to get sued, and they don't want to lose anymore. So for them, they have to figure out, all right, your NIL agents, your agents basically are going constantly and reaching out to teams. The idea of tampering, it's every day. Like, after a good game, bad game, other stuff, hey, I'm not getting playing time. It's constant player movement. So understanding basically you have annual free agency, it's why so many guys, the portal's not open until next week, but you have so many guys saying, oh, I'm intending to enter the transfer portal. I'm intending to enter the transfer portal, because they want to basically say, hey, I'm available. I'm out there. Come get me. Come talk to my agent. Come talk to my individual there. And I talked to someone today about some of the guys from Georgia State jumping in the portal, and some of them have significant offers already. Some of them are also looking for significant money, and we'll see if they actually get it or not.
I wish the transfer portal was actually like a real website that we could go look at. And I'm envisioning something like eBay, where you just have players up there, and like you can see different schools like bidding for it. I do think I can see Ryan's eyes moving already, and I think that may harken back to some bad period of our history on buying people. But I think it'd be cool to watch, to see which schools were just kind of like outbidding, and then you'd probably have somebody like some general manager who's really good at their job, and they just kind of keep on bumping up the asking price. Like they add to the minimum bid just to make sure that Georgia or Ohio State's having to pay even more. They have no interest in getting the guy, but they're just going to make them pay more for it. I could see
love
like
that.
Alabama and Georgia going back and forth, just harassing each
Look,
other.
screw it, I'm in.
I love that idea. It's a little bit, it's more of a database. It basically just shows you who's in, like, legally, like from a compliance point of view, but you can go in there and search it. What was wild is, up until recently, there were coaches who gave media members access and gave them their login basically to the portal.
Ooh,
And
I like
more and more,
that.
because that's how the media was breaking stuff. It's like, oh, such and such is in the portal, such and such is in the portal, such and such is in the portal, because it's supposed to be only coaches and people in athletics in compliance, right? So you can say, all right, he submitted the proper paperwork, he released this, and that, and the other. You and I both know Tampering is rampant. There's
Everywhere.
no penalties for it. We've seen it victimize Georgia State. I will be brutally honest. Georgia State people have gone and tampered with other players as well. I'm confident. I don't have
Hey,
documentation of that,
Rubbin's
but
racing, baby.
it's just
Rubbin's
Whatever,
racing.
whatever it
And that's
takes.
it.
Whatever it takes.
that's the deal. Is if there's no rules or there's no influencer rules, then guess what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going
Well,
to reach out. And here's the other
obviously,
side. I may reach out to the high school coach and say, hey, if such and such jumped on the portal, are they thinking about it? Are they happy over there? That's not an illegal conversation. It's just not.
so obviously the problem that will fix all of this, because my company has been doing this for years, is all you got to do is get the coaches to watch these little computer-based training models every 3 months that tell you that you should never share your password with anybody, including IT. They should never
It's
ask for
unbelievable.
that.
Yeah,
And then we can clear this all up and it'll never be a
totally.
problem anymore, at least
Yeah,
according to my
my little
compliance.
videos have like 80s and 90s like stars. Like I get John Lovitz on there from time to time.
You do
doing stuff. It's
Ninja. You have
amazing.
Ninja.
Yeah, it's so great. So
Yeah,
great.
and Tia Carrera. Like I like it
I
when
was
she's
gonna
on there
say
too.
Tita Carrero's on there. Like you're going through, you're like, who is it today? Yes. All right.
I've got
I
the same
remember
one.
them.
When it's Lovitz, I'm like, I'm watching that. I'll watch it again.
100%.
I'll watch it twice.
They
No, I'm
moved,
not
they
doing
moved
that.
us
I
off
hate
of that
this.
to just the animated
What are you watching, Ryan?
shorts.
Yeah, just John Lovitz in a Ninja training.
So tomorrow or Thursday, there'll be some announcement about who the new basketball head coach is going to be. Hey, obviously, we don't know who it is. I don't know if you know who it is, but
I don't at this point. I have it
so
narrowed
is
down,
this
but
something
I don't
that
know exactly.
do you think the fan base will be excited? I don't know. It's hard to say with you don't know who the guy is. Should we be excited? Is this going to be one of those kind of things where like, well, let's see what the hell happens?
I think it's a great question. Listen, I think there's a lot of fans that have, I came to Georgia State in an era where success was super high, right? Lefty was there. It was the zenith, basically. It was something that we just had never seen before, launching, when I was on campus, folks listen to this podcast and post on the boards and things like that were of that era. Then you have kind of the next segment of the, Ron Hunter fans and that folks that were drawn in by that success level. The last 4 years have
Rob
been
Barnes,
awful.
man. You're leaving him out.
It's really, really difficult, but I think ultimately, and with Atlanta in general, as we well know, right? You get people's attention by winning. You can have a celebrity head coach, doesn't really matter. And I was not at the Ron Hunter press conference, was working out of town, but yeah, the people that went, did you know who Ron Hunter was before he showed up? Did you know Ron Hunter in the press conference? Now, listen, his energy is infectious immediately. And my favorite thing was I texted somebody who was at the presser and they basically was like, yep, like the new hire, energetic. Apparently he's got a son who's really good. Like that was like the rundown. And of course, I immediately went to the Google and said, oh, yeah, Pike
Who's the
County.
son?
All right, this skinny kid from Indiana. All right, that's cool. All right, we got a shot at him. Let's see what's going on. And I talked to that skinny kid from Indiana yesterday. So because he wanted to know what was going on with the coaching staff. He wanted to know.
Does he want to interview?
So that was something that you
He would
sorry
do it.
guys, Tim, Ryan, jump in. I just keep on talking over and over. So you made talking about RJ and everything, and you and I have talked. We had these great years under Hunter, and then really good under Lanier. We have a good cast of really good ambassadors to the Georgia State basketball program. What's the relationship like? Are these guys coming back? Are they trying to be part of it? Are they wanting to see this program succeed and kind of contribute whatever they can? Obviously, there's not a lot of guys that went off and made a crap ton of money, so that's not really an option there necessarily. But provide their experience, their influence to go speak to the guy. What's going on there?
Yeah. Yes. The alumni network is strong. It can always be stronger. I think you have again, segmented eras, right? You have kind of the Ron Hunter, Rob Lanier team. Isaiah Williams called me this morning, talked to Lamont McIntosh yesterday. They all want to know what's going on. They want to be involved. Obviously different levels there, right? Isaiah Williams just wrapped up his professional career. He's done. He officially retired. He's now doing, the full-time job thing. So he's kind of, in the infancy of his professional career, but he did make some money, playing professionally. Lamont has been done professionally for, 15, 16 years now and has done very well at his company, working in financial planning. Guys like DJ Wootson, unless you're a hardcore fan, you probably don't remember his name. He may be one of the most successful alums we have in any sport. And he went from here and went to Vanderbilt. When I called him and asked him, hey, we're doing an alumni event. Jonas wants guys back. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to fly on down from Nashville. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, man. You're going to fly, like drive. Like I normally just drive like 4 hours or whatever, this, that, and the other. He's like, no, I'm going to fly. He has a private jet.
Nice.
Yeah. You got a different level of stratosphere of money. And he's done extremely well. And Odie Donald, who used to be the chief of staff for Andre Dickens, he never played a minute for us, but he wants Georgia State basketball to succeed because he came here for that. He came here and graduated.
I'm gonna need to get all these names back again so I can send them invitations to join the Patreon.
Let's do it. What I need to do is just invite you to the private Facebook group for football and basketball. Let's go.
Oh man, that's more exclusive than Magic City right there.
It's a lot of fun, man. There's a lot going on in there. I'll tell you that much. But a lot of things rattling around. But no, the alumni it has been great. They care. They desperately want this team to be better. They take it personally. They're upset when they lose. I had several guys that were playing overseas text me or sending me messages on WhatsApp and other things like that. Why the F are we down 20 points to ODU? Or why, they're vested. They're looking at it and they're like, what's going on? They get back and they call and they say, hey, like, what's the problem? Like, how can this get fixed? What do we need to do? And they say it's the collective we, right? They're saying that. So it's great to see. They want to be a part of it. And again, there's still guys. Usman Krabali is still playing overseas professionally. I think he's like in year 14 or year 15. Folks don't remember the name. He was a walk-on from W.D. Muhammad here in Atlanta. He was on the Mike Perry era, Panthers. Didn't play a lot. Wiry, power forward, probably 6'6.5", 6'7", supreme athlete. And again, he's still playing basketball professionally.
Wow.
And gone all over the place and played, I think, in either 9 or 10 different countries. So met his wife overseas. Like it's just awesome. And that's the GSU story. You have folks that are just from all areas of backgrounds and doing things professionally, and he still pays attention. He can't make it back because usually he's in season and different things like that. But there's guys certainly with an eyeball on this program. They want to know what's going on and they want it to succeed, and they want to find ways to help us succeed. That's the big part that I've been impressed. Whether it's coming in and helping from a recruiting point of view, just talking to teams, talking to recruits. Devin Mitchell's a great example of that as well. He's coaching now. He won Coach of the Year in his region last year, first year head coach. Up there, I believe in Gwinnett, but he, we had a good conversation today, to kind of talking about the coaching search and talking about what he's looking to do. But he has a great story as well, right? Highly recruited athlete from Collins Hill High School, 4-star guard, goes to Alabama, doesn't really work out that well. He comes home, has a great experience, and he will tell anyone that will listen, like everything that he did coming back and the introductions and things ultimately led him to what he's doing now, right? Like led him to an opportunity at Tulane for a year when he was on Ron Hunter's staff, came back and working, in high school basketball, Metro Atlanta, working in AAU and other things that way. And obviously being a high school coach now, he has aspirations as well to kind of rise in the college ranks. He and I were talking through general manager opportunities for him potentially if that's something he wanted to do. He'd love to do it here if the opportunity presented itself. Things like that where guys are kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting and saying, all right, well, let's find out who the new coach is. Now we're ready to jump in and help any way we can.
That's awesome. Kind of staying along the same line. Oh, I guess this is not the same lines at all. This is completely different. What's going on with Charlie Cobb?
Currently under contract. So that's what we know right now.
For 6 more months, right? Is that give or take?
I've heard May, I've heard June, I've heard August.
At last check, it was August. So that's what I know as of today. So is if you send a Freedom of Information request to GSU General Counsel or they even have like a FOIA email just to go directly.
They do. I'm aware of it. They're trying to scam us out of a lot of money to get information. So
you can gather it or have people gather it. That's a thing. Just call our buddy Matt Brown from Extra Points. He has the FOIA generator. He enjoys that immensely. So
I mean, back to basketball real quick. I know we're going to talk about Cobb all night, but I don't want to. So you got Hayes in purgatory, right? So like he's told he's not coming back. He's not let go. He's still here. He's probably not doing any roster management or anything, right? Like he's just
no,
players
no,
are doing whatever the hell they want.
there's no interactions. I mean,
Do you, do you
the
see anyone coming
reality.
back
No,
from
the
all
reality of it,
teams
I mean,
gone?
it's paperwork. I mean, it just is. It's paperwork. You know, I you don't go interviewing the current when the position's not open. And I think that's that's the important part of this.
Is it
We all
official?
know
Are we interviewing
this is
anyone?
done. You know,
I
and he
mean,
does as well.
but the internet says we're interviewing, but Georgia State doesn't say we're interviewing.
Georgia State's not going to say it's interview. That's why you hire like Parker Executive Search, because they handle all the vetting, they handle all the interviewing, setting up, so then you basically can't be searched.
So you
But
feel like the whole team
agents also talk. Agents also put their guys' names out there. Agents put guys in the stratosphere and on the Twitterverse that didn't interview, that don't
Yeah.
have that there wasn't mutual interest with, and that's why I'm always cautious, because a lot of these very well sourced, to their credit, accounts have great connections with agents, and they say, "Hey, drip this stuff out there, drip this stuff out there, drip this stuff out there, and see what happens," um, and go from there. But I'll be honest, I'm just exhausted. It's been I mean, it's been a long. It's been 3 weeks basically since the Panthers have, or 4 weeks, excuse me, since the Panthers lost. It's been what 18, 17, 18 days basically since he was notified that he's not going to be back. This has been a long search. Hopefully the right guy is there and they can get started. This was a critical week though, because for folks that don't know, and I mentioned it kind of, on the boards and other places, the Final Four is basically like a job fair for coaches. Like they go in there and they're finding assistant coaches, they're networking. It's critical for both the men's and the women's side. Man, we haven't talked about the women's side. The women's coach will be sewn up, and I do know who that individual is from what I understand this morning. So that will be taken care of as well this week, because you got to get a staff in place. The transfer portal opens next week. You got to figure out, all right, is anybody on the roster worth keeping that you want? Maybe you don't. Maybe you just dump it completely. I don't know, and just kind of evaluate it, because all that stuff matters and it's got to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping we would make these changes faster so you could
For sure.
maybe head off some of the players like Hamilton announcing he's going on the portal. I mean, Tucker, Brown, and Hamilton, I'd like to keep one of them if we could, because all three showed talent.
I think Micah has an opportunity there. I think another year. The biggest thing with like Jelani, I mean, he was at Iowa State. He came here for 2 years.
He's going to go back and make.
He did what he needed to do. The big thing for him is, you only have a earning window that's finite, right? So like for him, this is an opportunity to go get paid. Now, is that a high major job or a high major opportunity? Is that ACC, SEC school? Maybe not, but like he's done what he needs to do here. Like I think that's kind of the evolution of like where fans are, is like, you're not going to, I mean, same thing on the women's side. Crystal Henderson was not going to be a 4-year player here in this era. It just wasn't going to happen. Now she could have came back next year and be a legendary player and have that, but she also was very much tied to Gene Hill and his staff. So once they left, I was like, well, Crystal's gone. And I'm interested to see where she goes as well. But yeah, I mean, Micah could stick around, have an opportunity. I think Malachi is going to have better offers and bigger offers, and good for him. He started his career at Seton Hall, didn't play at all, basically. Came here for 2 years and did his thing. Go get paid, man. I mean, and I think ultimately that's a net positive for our program, is you look at it, you go, all right, I can go there, ball out for a couple of years and elevate, right?
It's kind of like the new version of JUCO. So JUCO was set up, or was put out there, the place where, you got into some trouble or something went wrong and you wanted to go and you could show teams that you could play. So you would go down to JUCO and do that for a year or two and try to get that D1 offer or whatever. Now it's kind of like, all right, I got to make some money. I don't need to go all the way down to JUCO. I just need to go to a lower mid program and ball out and show that I've got the skills and refine my craft to go make my bag somewhere else.
But the biggest thing too is, I mean, you've got better. Yeah, I mean, junior college is a different deal, man. It's a different grind, because every single one of those guys is trying to get out. Every single one of those guys, and a lot of things too. and this could be a whole separate podcast for another day, but not every kid's wired for JUCO because it is a true free for all. And I've had people that have had good experiences at JUCO, and I've had folks that have very bad experiences at junior college because there is a lot of times very little structure, and guys are not getting equal reps, not getting equal time. It's also hard to translate the junior college stats because I look at the leagues. I know the leagues basically specifically like in basketball, which are strong, football that is strong. I go get stats and fuzzy numbers and things like that. I mean, we tell the story of the great Clay Chastain always, right? Clay Chastain had a 6-game highlight film. He was one of the highest rated recruits on 2 different networks because of off his film. He looked great. He was also throwing to 2 guys that had P4 offers, and one of them ended up, I think, going P4, had another guy that was going G5. So him looking great, but he also was going up against not so great competition back then. There was also some stuff off the field that wasn't disclosed that he showed up and people were like, uh-oh. And that happened. Like, oh, there's an injury to his knee that we didn't know about. That's fun. So it's things like that where you just have to kind of be careful. And I think the layers of recruiting have changed dramatically as well because a lot of these guys are just, especially basketball, man, like they're going to go and I need impact guys in the portal today.
Yeah,
And they may be more expensive, but they can help me right now. And I can't
gotcha.
necessarily wait on high school guys, especially if they're not impactful.
So, kind of got into football talk there a little bit. Before you came on, you said you had some breaking news. I think there's a 2027 commit you want to talk about.
Yeah, man. We'll switch gears here a little bit. So Del McGee and his staff got some good news. New quarterback in the fold for the 2027 class. One BJ Coleman out of Phoenix City, Alabama Central High School. He's a 3-star in our 247 composite rankings. He's what I'm looking at it right now. Top 40 player in the state of Alabama. So going back to Alabama and grabbing guys, we go back all the way to the days of Joe Peterson and a
Joe P.
few others. Obviously, they've done really well
Well, and as I
going
said
to Alabama and coming over.
before we started, and when you and I were talking about this, as I said, BJ Coleman, who doesn't love a little BJ? It's going to be.
Love
You
you
can't go
guys.
wrong.
Boy,
That escalated quickly.
So you said 3-star, but the tweet that I saw said 4-star. And so since we're not a news agency, I'm going to go with 4-star. He's a 4-star
You do
recruit.
you. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 247's ranking system. He's a high 3-star. So that means he
What do
projects
those guys know?
starter at some point in his career,
we mostly just copy everybody else,
as you
but
should.
they're all copying each other too. So it's like,
Listen, it's that's a whole nother podcast for another day. But yeah, there is effort, there is energy on the rankings. We try to get them right. We try to make them predictors, and we've seen sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, and ultimately that's why we keep going. And it's just supposed to be predictors. That's what ratings are.
I got one last question before letting you go, unless Tim or Ryan have something. A spring game coming up a couple weeks from this Friday, right? Anything that we should keep an eye out on, or is it just all fluff?
No, I mean it's an opportunity to go see this football team before before they kick off the season against North Carolina A&T on another Friday night. I think there's a lot of new faces. Obviously, that's the nature of the game now, right? That's the nature of college football, and especially at this level, I am fascinated by the complete 180 turn by Del McGee and his staff to go get more experienced guys. Last year, there was a lot of talented guys, but just who hadn't played. This time, you have guys who were captains, who had played a lot of football, older guys. I mean, there's a real possibility along the offensive line. You may have 5 seniors or redshirt seniors along the offensive line and grown men, across the offensive line, which this program desperately needed. There's a lot of talent basically in the backfield, as we expect, right? That's Del McGee's calling card. Is that offensive line going to be good enough to kind of push that, and continue to have opportunities? You've got a returning incumbent quarterback for the first time in a while, right? Cam Brown is the guy. It's his show. He's the quarterback number 1. How is he looking? How is he progressing? How is the new defensive staff, new defensive coordinators looking, right? How big is that coming along? I always am interested to see styles as well, right? Matching talent versus styles. Like, hey, are they a 3-4? Are they a 4-3? Man, if you talk to any defensive coordinator, they're gonna look at you and be like, oh, we're hybrid. Okay, well, what does that mean? Yeah,
We're everything.
right. We're everything. We're gonna throw a 3-8 defense. No, come on, man. Like,
I have seen like regardless of that scheme, like they're into blitzing and they want to do a lot of man coverage, which I'm excited about because that's more like Jesse Minter style,
100%.
aggressive, real aggressive, and like our defense has never been better than when it's very aggressive.
Agreed. And I think ultimately you have to be aggressive at the right time. I think Jesse was great at that. Timing out blitzes, timing out pressures. But you also got to have the talent to do it too, right? You got to have the experience to do it, especially in all three levels. You got to have the experience in the secondary to match up. Say, look, we're going to go man. You got to hold on tight here because it's just you. Hey, we're going to throw.
You're still playing against Monroe and Ooh La La and whoever else. So it's like you don't have to have the best talent.
UCF and a 10-win Kennesaw team, no big deal.
Yeah.
Those are cupcakes. We're fine.
Yeah.
Jerry Mack just followed me back on Twitter yesterday. That was interesting. Shout out to Coach Mack. Hopefully he watches the podcast.
I mean,
Hopefully so.
I do really hope our defense can perform better than this past year.
They better.
As a United fan, how terrible they've been, I'm like, well, it can only go up from here. So that's kind of what I feel like with our defense. It's got to go up from where it was.
I believe the offense has opportunities to be better, which is kind of wild because you will have in very short order probably a third-round draft pick come off this roster. And ultimately, to me, it's one of the scenarios where Dell wants to be more balanced. He wants to run the ball. You want to be able to chew clock up. You want to be able to have, you have a mobile quarterback who's very successful running and be able to have that run pass option. Those offenses have worked well here. We've also seen the leap from year one and year two from a guy in the system. That's why a lot of the folks were like, "Oh, we got to get rid of everybody, get rid of every assistant coach." And I was like, guys, at some point, you want to have the same quarterback in the same system multiple years because you want to have that progression, and you have that now. So, like, what does that look like in a couple weeks? And no, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're a GSU football fan, like this is an opportunity for you. Like, show up, man. Like, show up, see the team. If you do nothing else, just go see it. And have the opportunity to do it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to lecture people on, on what they do with their time, and that's up to them. You have people that are like, hey, they're losing. I'll pay attention. I'll check back in later. Okay, I get it. I mean, I do. We understand. Like, we do. There's a lot of people who've taken that path, but ultimately, I'm excited. There's a lot of new energy, new coaches. From what I'm hearing so far, are pretty impressive. Defensive line coach, I've seen him on Twitter a lot. Coach Bear. His coach Cam Spence. There's a lot of new faces as well. And again, I'm interested to see how it all comes together. And there'll be more reinforcements coming with some younger guys and from what I understand, a few more transfers that'll be added that signed but just did not arrive early, in January.
Well, awesome. I will see you there. I will let you buy me a beer. Since I know you're not a big drinker, I can't buy you one. I'll definitely let you buy me one.
You could, but then I just give it back to you. So then you buy yourself a beer.
That's probably the beer you're buying me.
Actually, that's what you should do, is buy him a beer and he'll give it back.
That's it. Now you have two.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Ben, for coming on. Guys, do you have anything else before we head out of here and do our own thing?
Did you say who you think our basketball coach is going to be? Did you say what your best guess is?
Mr. Price?
Are you willing to say?
Still working on it, man. Yeah, it's the prediction thing has not been my friend for a while, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But
check the flights.
Scattered, smothered, and covered.
Airplanes.
Brady's like stalking every single coach's Twitter, every single one of them. Did they follow something in Georgia, around Georgia? We're just so ready for this to just have a name to kind of dive in. To kind of get down in the press conference and see where we go from here. Because again, we're basketball fans. And
as I posted on Panther Talk, following you and Panther Talk and Brady is probably going to be your best bet on finding some breaking stuff. Because Brady,
I have my doubts that we'll ever find out who the new coach is before the next season, and if we're not paying attention to you guys at 247.
Yeah, if it's not tomorrow, I will buy you all beers. How about that?
There we go. All right, come on. I'm gonna shut down Ben's internet. And
make sure you record that, David. Make sure that's
recorded. On tape. It must be true.
All right, thanks, Ben. We'll talk to you before the season starts. We'll get you back on here and we'll do a little
100%, boys.
preview of the whole thing.
Enjoy it as
Sounds
always.
good.
Love you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
See